Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, ready to go here. This is part two of health, weight loss, the quick weight loss diet. Fast weight loss, the fast weight loss diet. Now, what I'd like to start with, and I want to start with Keely, okay? And Keely, I would like you to tell us a little about the diets that you've done in the past in your life, you know, that have helped you lose weight quick and
Well,
have been healthy,
you
supportive.
name the diet, and I have done it, and they all help to lose weight. The problem is that they're not, most of them are not things that you can stay with.
Yes.
They're diets.
So we want to hear the names and the specifics.
Well, let's see. The very first diet I ever did was Weight Watchers, back when it was in the 60s, when it was, counting points and things like that. And it was a lot of artificial foods on that diet. And after that, I remember when I went away to college, I tried, I did a macrobiotic fast for a week, and that was great. I had nothing but brown rice for 7 days. And then I did a drug diet.
What kind of drugs?
I took a lot of speed, and I got skinny really fast.
Maybe we shouldn't mention this one. I don't know. I might have to cut this one out.
Wanted fast weight loss.
Yeah, it was fast weight loss, right? I'll just call in.
Then I was always reading about nutrition. I was always interested in it. And so I tried the Pritikin diet, which was high protein. In fact, I don't think there are any carbs on that diet except for grapefruit juice.
And how did you do on that? How did that work?
Well, again, it was very effective at losing weight. But I remember not feeling relaxed during it. It was kind of a tense time. And then I remember reading about how it causes this condition called ketosis, where your body is expelling ketones, and it's hard on your liver and your kidneys, and it's, eventually if you keep doing it, you die. So I used to hope on that. And then, every time there was a new diet, I tried it. And then the one thing I did that was really effective was I just decided all by myself when I was in my mid-20s, I just decided that one day a week, every Sunday, I was going to fast on water.
Uh-huh.
And I did that for about a year, and I lost all my excess weight that year. I lost about 20 pounds.
Wow.
It was very easy. I enjoyed the Sundays. They were spiritual. I was able to go out with people and not eat. I knew it was just one day, so it was temporary, so I could get through it. And I just liked how I felt on that, and that helped me get my weight down. It kind of got me to a lower set point, so that my normal weight was lower than it had ever been. The weight that I kept reverting to.
Right.
And then when I was working with you, I did Well, the first fast I think I did was the Master Cleanser, which is that 21-day fast where you drink a gallon of distilled water every day, mixed with cayenne pepper, maple syrup, and lemon juice.
It's called the Master Cleanser, right?
Master Cleanser. And on the 19th day of that diet, I was losing a lot of weight, but on the 19th day, I reached kind of a wall.
Well, I think a lot of people listening to this feel like they probably couldn't go 19 days on that diet. It'd be like going 10 rounds with Muhammad Ali.
I remember Maria Heenan was on that diet with me, and I would just look at her, and her lips were chapped, and her face was gray, and she just looked awful. And I was just getting this feeling that I was just being depleted or something, and I guess it was in my mind. But what happened was I just felt like I hit a wall, and I asked Jill to make me some miso soup, and I started eating, and I should have just gotten through the other 2 days, because from what I understand, after those 2 days, it was like a healing crisis that I didn't allow to happen.
Yes.
And I was probably going to expel, because I was feeling dizzy and a little bit sick. right before, on that 19th day, and I just should have gotten through that. But really nobody around me, I guess, knew that. So I blew that one. But then on the very first Kalima, or the second Kalima fast that I did, which is 7 days, pineapple juice, green drink for protein, and psyllium to flush out your intestines. On the 5th day of that fast, the same thing happened to me. I got, like dizzy and nauseous and sick and weak. And I was doing my Kalima at that time, and I knew I was going to get through the 7 days because I had the experience of, not hitting the wall in the previous time. Well, something really strange happened during the Kalima. I started to smell smoke.
Wow.
From my body. And I hadn't smoked like for 10 years or 6 years or whatever. So I knew that was smoke that probably was still like in my organs somewhere, or in my lungs or whatever.
So you were actually expelling.
I was expelling smoke from when I smoked years and years before.
You see, the people watching this movie may have forgotten, we did share about this in part 1, that both of you have quit smoking. And you had quit smoking, many years before the smoke was coming out of you.
Right, about six years or 7 years before.
Now Ross quit smoking only around 6 months ago, and she still has a smoker's cough. And Ross has a huge amount of toxins in her body from cigarettes.
Right.
And it's good that we're making this. This is, Ross is on the left and you're Keely on the right. And it's good that we're making this movie with both of you, because Ross can now realize that she may have some real detoxing ahead of her.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it was more about 5 years. 5 or 6 years that I had stopped smoking when this happened. But anyway, while that was happening, I was also, during the Kalima, I was defecating, and my intestines were being emptied. And as it was happening, I just started to feel, clearer and clearer and clearer and better, and like the smoke was coming out, and the fog was lifting, and the headache was going away, and the weakness was going away, and I just started to have like one insight and realization after another. And I was just being bombarded with insights about myself and my life and how I functioned. And that was the most effective fast I ever did.
So you really changed in terms of everything in your life when you did that fast.
Probably.
Okay. Ross, what are you going through? What's going on in your mind as you listen to Keely talk about this?
I find it very interesting. Very, very interesting. And you're right, I need to detox. Because at the moment what I'm doing is drinking a lot of water, drinking a lot of juice, carrot juice, pineapple juice, but I don't think it's enough. And I'm eating more than before.
Test if it's enough.
Okay.
Yeah, hold your hand up there.
Let's detox enough. No, I get no.
Okay, so there's your. See, this is what we're telling people, and that we actually get signals from God telling us how to approach what we're doing.
Wait. There's a lot of noise and you're being cut out.
Oh, that's Barb. Hi, Barb.
Sorry. Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I thought it was 3:30.
It's not.
Well, it's good. You know what? You thought it was 3.
Barb, if you can put on your mute while Byron's talking.
Can you? I'm sorry to say, Barb. I think that I may have forgotten to call you and tell you that we moved it up. So I'm really sorry about that.
Okay. No, I remember calling me to tell me that, but I thought you said you moved it to 3:30, so.
Okay.
It's my bad, so to speak. So no problem.
Okay. All
sorry
right.
I'm late. Sorry I'm not here yet.
Okay.
But Santa Fe, it should dry in a few minutes.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to what we were talking about.
Somebody say. Okay.
Ross?
Yeah.
Okay. What we're telling people is that we get signals from a higher power, and that was what we just saw on your finger, and this is how we know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can very easily tell whether you're doing enough or not because you asked, you tested it. You didn't have to think about it or make it up or get advice from an expert. You got advice from the only expert there is.
Yes. And I can trust that kind of advice.
Yes. Okay. So now what we're coming to is this is part 2 of the fast weight loss diet. This section right here is part 2. And what we're going to show people first of all, we're going to tell people what the diet is and how to approach it. And we're also going to demonstrate it, which you just did in part. And in order to actually do this, the person is going to have to donate because this is a church. And when they go on to part 3, they're going to be required to give a donation. Now, the reason that I decided to talk about this right now at the beginning of this movie is because there's something that people have to know as they're getting into this. They have to know it and remember it. And it's especially true in this weight loss program, which is, this is going to be it's going to feel very illogical and confusing. And once the person who we're, working with here in the movie, like if you're watching this movie, you're going to see things in this movie that are, that can be difficult to take, difficult to understand. Barb, what do you say about that?
I agree.
And
yes, I agree.
The thing
it's not always about something as simple as what you eat, although that's a big factor. And I've certainly faced a lot of things and still do face things that are not always fun or pleasant to face.
Yep.
And how you respond to them that controls your weight, though. I noticed that a way of, maintaining your weight or having it out of the way is by noticing how I respond to the not so pleasant or expected outcomes. How do you respond when you don't get what you want, or when things don't go your way, don't seem to, or something doesn't digest properly? If you want to talk about food, like what if you make a mistake or pick the wrong thing or change your mind after you ate it? Like, what do you do? And so these are responses. I think that's where IMMUNICS comes in, because I certainly use a lot of different methods and ways and substances and things to control my diet, but ultimately what I was just describing, my ability to respond or self-correct and all that.
Okay. All right, I get it. That's good.
Keeps me.
Barb, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's good. Yeah, I want people to pay attention to what you're saying, and it's possible that they might need to rewind this and play back what you said again, because I think what you said is very important. And I also realized that we were losing Barb. That's why I interrupted her. I hoped if she stopped talking that.
We just lost her.
Yeah, we did. We lost her. Yeah, but I was hoping if she stopped talking that her connection would catch up. That's why I sort of interrupted her there. But she said enough, and it's very important. Here's what I want the person to understand. Okay, I started this movie with 3 skinny people who have succeeded for many, many years in losing weight and taking care of themselves. Ross, you have accomplished an enormous amount with where you quit smoking, you cure the flu, you teach other people how to cure the flu. You never had any serious diseases, but you stopped your anxiety. You've completely changed yourself. Keely cured an incurable liver disease. So I started out with people who are successes. You know, I wanted the person to see people like you on camera, Keely, people who, are masterful at controlling their weight. But in part 3, what they're going to see is sort of like what you see in The Biggest Loser. You know, you're going to see people who are still overweight and who have you're going to see people who've accomplished things but are not there yet. Like you're going to see a woman who's lost 70 pounds and maybe she's got another 70 to lose, or somebody who's maintained her weight 100 pounds overweight instead of blowing up to being 200 pounds overweight, or whatever it is. And these people also haven't been doing this as long as you, or some of them haven't anyway, and also they haven't really cared about losing weight until, not too long ago. So in order to learn how to do this, the person watching this movie has to see people who are in the process of losing weight. Seeing people who are successes like you and who are advising them is not going to do it for them.
Yeah, they need to see how to do what they're going to do.
Yes, exactly.
They need to see people doing it.
Exactly right. And they also are going to need to see people, change on camera. Who they need to see the calm, clear place, because what we're saying if you're watching this movie, what we're telling you is this is a religion, and when you practice this religion, it makes you feel good. It's funny because I tell people this is a religion, and a lot of the people who call me, I put my number on the web, so a lot of people call me, and when they call me, they and I tell them this is a religion. A lot of them say, "Oh, that's great." They're happy to hear it, and they say, "What religion is it?" and I tell them, "Well, it's this." And they say, yes, of course, but what religion is it? And I say, "It's this." It's very hard for them to get it. It's like they're trying to find it. Is it Judaism? Is it is it Islam? What is it? It's this. This is the religion. So when a person goes on with this after they've seen what we have to give them, and they want to actually get into doing it, they're going to have to donate and make a commitment and go in there and see people who are in the middle of it like they are, and talk to the people who are on my Facebook wall, which presumably, if you're watching this movie, you have already become my Facebook friend, because that was the requirement. Even though you can actually, this is the World Wide Web, so you can find the movie very easily without becoming my Facebook friend. Do a search on YouTube or something and you can find, or a friend sent you a link. But you should be in good faith and be my Facebook friend right now, because then you're going to meet the people that you're seeing on camera here, and you're going to have advisors people who will actually talk to you and help you with your weight loss program or your health program. So now that we've said that, this is the fast weight loss cure program, okay, the fast weight loss diet. And Ross, I want to go to you next and ask you, what diets, now this is, what successful diets have you done?
Okay, the only diet that I have ever done was many years ago, and practically I had to eat fruit first, and then pasta, because in Italy we usually eat pasta, and vegetables, with pasta, I could eat a lot of bread, all the bread I wanted.
Right.
And in the evening, I could have, again, fruit if I wanted, and then meat or fish, and then without any bread, and then vegetables, and that was all. It was a dissociative diet.
That sounds like everything I used to do when I wasn't on a diet.
Me too. And what happened?
All the bread I want on a diet, I swear you should put that on the web. You'd make $1 million.
The diet, all the bread you can eat diet.
Diet everybody wants to be on.
But it worked. It worked. It wasn't fast because in the beginning I didn't realize I was losing absolutely anything. But after a couple of months, I realized I was losing weight steadily. And I wasn't hungry. I wasn't going hungry. So it was okay.
So the diet worked. What did you give up when you were on the diet?
Dressing. I didn't use any butter. And if I want to make a sauce for the pasta, it was just tomatoes and olive oil. So fat, practically.
Oh.
And when I cooked meat, it was without any butter of oil or oil. I put on some olive oil, but raw. Okay, I didn't cook the oil.
And also, you had certain meals where you just had fruit.
No, fruit could be at the beginning of the meal.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you put fruit at the
Not
beginning.
at the end, at the beginning.
So
right.
So you gave up fruit at the end, but you had it at the beginning.
Yes, yes.
And you got
I had to give up sweets, of course.
You had to give up sweets.
Okay, I understand this diet now.
And how many meals a day were you able to eat?
2 meals.
So you got 2 meals.
2 meals because at the time my breakfast, I feel very ashamed to say this, but it was a black coffee and a cigarette.
Okay, all right. All right, Barbara. Now to you, Laughing Buddha. What about you? What have you eaten to
Well, in my first
control your?
lifetime, I ate berries and nuts. Then I came back as a. Those animal lifetimes, I had to eat other animals. Then I got into fish.
You graduate. Yeah, there were. Oh boy.
I can't really relate to dieting because. But I have to say I've probably been on a diet since I understood food. So I'm very particular. I mean, I'm very conscious about like the quality of the oils, for example. Like I don't eat sauces and fats, especially in restaurant food, and I don't. I just don't prefer it actually.
Right.
And I haven't had like fast food, like that type of food since maybe 75 or 6 or before.
So never. You never have fast food.
No, I really don't. I don't eat candy. I don't eat, I just don't eat that stuff. I haven't for years and years and years. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. It just makes me feel better for the work I do. Like I noticed it was adding interference to my testing and other things and just my already challenging, just being clear. And so, but with you, we ate Japanese a lot. I ate a lot of raw food, raw fish and vegetables, and I've eaten fruits and nuts for years. You remember I did that for primarily fruits and nuts, a lot of nut butters and bananas and tropical fruits. And I've been vegetarian and I've been a meat eater. Right now I kind of mix it up. I eat animal protein occasionally, organic animal protein, and I feel like I can't afford to be overweight. That's the idea I have, like the idea that I can't that, when they say fat and happy or fat and rich, that sometimes I've sort of believed that when you're relaxed and everything's going okay, then okay, go ahead and get a little fatter. But I feel like I have to stay like lean and mean and agile, so that could be partially a dysfunction or partially just an approach to living. And I know the principles of food combining just from my own experience. I also, have these metal rods, so it's not good to have a lot of extra stuff in my intestines.
Yes.
You mean the metal in your back? You should
I have a spinal fusion, so my body is kind of held up on its own. So if my intestines are too full for too long, I get like a backache, sort of a more of a lower backache
Right.
than I would if my intestines free.
Yeah, you were.
So I.
Okay, yes, because you had a Harrington rod operation when you were a teenager,
Yeah.
and so
Right.
you had
So
scoliosis.
like when
okay.
I did my first Kalima fast, everything changed. That was really the big game changer with my understanding of eating, because I was really good at not eating. But when I did my Kalima fast, then I was cleared out, and I was absorbing things better and learning how to juice and enjoy food. But I heard that there's a principle of macrobiotics of sort of slightly under eating, so I think I've kind of done that too.
Well, that's a very okay. So, and also you're 53.
54.
And you're 54, and you look 34. And Keely is 58 and looks,
Actually, I'm 61.
Oh no!
Wow.
Oh dear!
Uh-oh.
I was saying
Say that every day.
And you look like you're in your 30s, and Ross is like, I don't.
Same as Keely,
Wow.
61.
Are you really?
Amazing.
Yeah,
So
61 in August.
so we've and see, okay, and if we get to me, which I'm 67, I have spent my
You look just like Fran.
I have spent my life pretty much fasting in one way or another. Like at lunch, I would do a fast consisting of avocado, date, and carrot juice, and in the evening, I would do a fast that consisted of 3 pounds of raw fish and a gallon of beer. But I would always
like that diet.
I always limited my eating and paid attention to my food combining, and I'd have dinners made up of fruit and nut butter and so on. And so to go to the point of all this, the reason I've asked you about all these diets is the person who's watching this movie. This is what most people do, okay? They decide they want to lose weight or they want to be healthier. So they go on the web and they say, I'm going to find a diet. And they look around and they see, this diet or that diet, and they say, I'm going to do this diet and it obviously works, and I'm going to do this diet and I'm going to lose weight. And what we're going to teach people is how to actually be able to do the diet that they choose. We're going to teach people how to, survive on any diet. And that is that's what practicing this IMMUNICS does. We're also going to teach people how to never be sick again a day in their life, starting today. Like somebody who does this and learns this can end their life without any more sickness. They can go through life and just one day just float out of their body, die of old age. That's the end of it. And their body will last a lot longer too. So put up your fingers and let's test this question. Do I have any cravings? Keely, you got a signal?
Yeah.
Barb, you got a signal?
Very slight, yes.
And Ross, did you get one?
Very
No.
slight.
No, you have no cravings. Okay. So Keely, now say I'm removing all cravings.
I'm removing all cravings from all my bodies.
And Barb, do the same. I'm removing all cravings. Yeah?
The substance of a person. Yes. Most of my cravings are non-food related.
Have I removed them?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you, starting with Keely, do you feel any different?
The difference I feel is I just, my eyes opened up and I just see an area where I have choice, where I didn't experience choice before.
Okay.
I can make a choice instead of being driven, which is what I was doing. I was being driven at certain meals or certain meal times or certain instances with food. I was just being driven and unconscious that I could just make a choice, that I was operating out of a craving. I just wasn't seeing that.
Yeah, I just tested and I removed some cravings, and I relate to what you're saying about being driven also.
Yeah.
And of just putting the food down and saying, okay, I've eaten enough.
That's part of it.
Because I can feel a driven feeling sometimes when I'm eating. And
Right.
Barb, what about you? What, do you feel any different?
No, I've been really, I'm kind of beyond that, thank God. I'm not saying that to be something arrogant, but I know what you're talking about, but I really have had this shit scared out of me so many times that I'm actually really appreciative. I sort of think through what I'm going to eat before I eat it. Every once in a while, I'll maybe like, especially if I'm alone, think, oh, that was really good. I'm going to have another whole, plate of it or whatever it is I made. And that's probably the best.
I'm hearing that.
And I can keep that in case Elijah should show up or something.
I'm hearing that,
spiritual
Barb.
thing. I think I'm just going to keep that all up because I'm by myself, but I should probably leave half of what I cook for someone else to show up because I'm usually full. But I don't really crave stuff like that. Like I don't like run in the house and run to anything really. But because I'm actually after this particular result lately, so I do this sort of eat to win or eat to stay connected diet. I'm into this healthy chocolate also. So I have a shake that I can drink that I make sure I get all my minerals. So that's maybe remove some of my cravings too, like trace minerals and so forth. I can feel that a lot of things are connecting that haven't been connected for years, and that has removed cravings.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't know that chocolate is a health food.
Yeah, it is raw chocolate.
And beer is a health food in England.
No impurities.
Certain kinds are, anyway. Okay, so
Yes.
now to go back to basics again. This is the fast weight loss diet that we're talking about. The fast weight loss diet. And the commonality of all the diets that everybody talked about is one thing, that they are each in its own way a fast. The Pritikin diet, or the beer and raw fish diet, or the Kalima fasting, or whatever it is, where the eating water fasting on Sunday, or whatever we're talking about, each one in its own way is a fast. And so what we're going to enable people to do is abstain from food without suffering.
There you go.
That's what we teach. That's what the person will learn how to do. And then in the middle of that, we will also teach them all kinds of things about eating and fasting and exercise and waking and sleeping, and how to take, we're going to teach people how to take care of themselves so that they're healthy. And when you're healthy, when you're living and eating in a healthy way, your body throws weight off every second. And so what happens is you lose like 3 pounds a day or a pound a day. The weight just drops off you. I've lost like 6 pounds in a day sometimes, and I'm skinny. And I'm not kidding. Like I'll be like 149, and I'll wake up and I'm 144.
Huh.
Just because of the way I treated myself the day before. And feeling great. Like not hungry, not craving, not, like deprived, or thinking about something that I missed or missing. People often say, who need to lose weight, they say, I feel like something's missing. and I'm eating to to find out what's to get what's missing, and we're going to help people. We're going to show people how to lose that feeling that something is missing in this. And I want to hear what you have to say about this, what I'm talking about now. So now I'm going to turn this over to you.
Wow.
I don't know what else there is to say about it.
Yeah, I think you said something really big there about missing something. I got this big emotion when you said that, because I think that's true for so many people in my family and friends that have had issues with weight, and myself. It relates to substances and drugs and that kind of thing too. I think a lot of people smoke cigarettes or smoke anything or do to fill in what they think they're lacking.
Well, we should mention that you have been, I don't know if you still are, a cocaine addict.
Mm-hmm.
And you have managed to stop.
Yeah, miraculous.
And you did it without, you went to some meetings, but it wasn't, you didn't go to meetings every night and call your sponsor and all that. You actually just, walked away from it.
Yeah, it was amazing. But I actually never thought it was going to happen, that I would never crave that again. But yeah, I was able to do that.
That's great.
Yeah,
really great.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What you guys all helped, of course, and friends, but that takes skill. But there's got to be something more important. And I use marijuana, so that is I have to look at that with regard to weight also. But usually it's an appetite creator.
Yeah, that's right. And not only that, but see, your particular marijuana was recommended to you by one of your doctors or several of them because you have the Harrington rods in your back, so you're sort of doing something medicinal for yourself, and it is difficult. It can be difficult to use marijuana, and then when you get an emotional problem, you can just start using too much of it.
Yeah, I have to really test, and I have over the years with that, but.
Well, going back to what you said about cocaine, I think you should talk more about that, because that's related to
weight loss.
Weight loss, in that when you were giving up cocaine, you had to make a decision in moments to just be uncomfortable.
Exactly.
That's
right.
Really
what you meant.
That's what people have to do when they're fasting or when they're on a diet that doesn't work for them. So talk about that, and maybe you can.
See, here's the thing. Before you go on, before you say anything, the thing that the person watching this has to understand is that it's possible to be uncomfortable without suffering.
Well, that's where the cure team came in, and just trusting and all of my training, because I was very uncomfortable, and it was not for the reasons I thought it would be either. It was things like noticing myself gaining weight, or noticing myself, having more feelings, or feeling, the losses and so forth. But it was a really good exercise in weight, because I wanted, I wanted to recreate myself slowly. So, because I had, actually been underweight during that time, and just not eating. I was eating well, but not properly. But yeah, you have to be uncomfortable, and especially for people who have controlled their weight.
Well, you have to be. You don't have to be uncomfortable. You just have to be.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable. It's like riding a wave. It was like surfing. I was just getting used to being in my body differently.
Yes, you have. It was like willing to be uncomfortable.
Slowly. That was it was like sinking back into each cell slowly, and like walking the earth in a different body, and sinking into that again. Like I remember that Jane Fonda book where she says she got in her body at like age 54.
That's right. I read the book. I remember
that. Yeah.
I remember that. I remember her saying that.
So I was like, what is she talking about at the time? And then I thought, wow. Yeah. So.
Jane Fonda once said on television that she had a lot of sex and she didn't have a lot of love.
Yeah.
And that was, boy, did that ever hit. That was the story of I'm a sex addict. That was the story of my life.
Yeah, well, that's what's so cool right now. Because I'm sure glad you mentioned that too, because I was thinking there was something wrong with me that I wasn't really wanting that, but it's because I feel pretty whole. I feel more whole with myself and making different kinds of choices. You know, that are just to actually further the result rather than fill in the space of me thinking I don't have the result, because I'm, you know, I have a result now. I have to sort of sit, and that's why you were kidding around about the Buddha thing, because I can sit still so much longer now and just actually get information.
That's right.
It's both scary and exciting. That's the kind of uncomfortable, Keely, like you're saying. It's just a different feeling, so you have to get used to it again.
You're a warrior. You are a warrior and a hero. You are a hero, Barb.
Well, thank you. I mean,
you have struck a blow for all of humanity with your life by living your life.
When she was describing herself, I was thinking that's what it is to be successful at anything, really. You have to be kind of like a stealth warrior when you're on a weight loss diet, because you have to be willing to just do everything it takes and to find out everything you need to know. And, you know, just constantly.
Right on. Yeah.
I'm wondering what thoughts Ross is having as you're listening to this.
Well, I agree that Barb has a lot of inner strength, and she's a warrior. And I think that when you want something very badly, then you are willing to do whatever it takes to achieve it. So if it's a diet and you really want to lose weight, you are ready to give up what you like. You have to make choices, okay? Either you lose weight or you keep eating sweets, candy bars, and ice cream, and very, very nice and lovely things, but they are in the way of what you want to achieve. So it's a matter of making the right choice.
Yeah, and going deeper, we used to have this process where we would imagine yourself, like walking down the street, or imagine yourself the most powerful relationship you could have, or the most powerful group you could be in. Remember that?
Yes.
And if I didn't have a vision, like I lost enough to realize, okay, now I know what I want, and I wanted to be an interactive person again. I wanted to be in a relationship with people and have relationships. So that's, I think you have to have like what Tony Robbins said, an empowering alternative, or just something. I mean, I haven't been overweight but once or twice, and I can remember wanting to be that less just for myself. Except a lot of it was coming through for, in this case, was through for you guys, or just for, you know, doing what I came here to do,
Right.
rather than dying. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is very good. This is very good. So, just for the person who was, you know, came in, innocently walked into this very intense, I will say, you know, discussion of actually, here's the problem, okay? These people on The Biggest Loser, they lose 150 pounds, and within a year and a half, they've put it all back, and they win The Biggest Loser. They win the money. And they go right back up to their old weight. Bingo.
Yeah,
and what we're going to teach this person who's watching this to do is not just to have fast weight. This is fast weight loss. And not just because you're fasting to achieve it either. You know, in one way or another, whatever the diet is that the person does, it is going to be some kind of fast. If they do a protein diet, then they're fasting on proteins, you know.
Fasting on carbs.
They're fasting on carb. That's what. In other words, they're not eating carbs. So, but whatever it is they do, you know, on this diet, we're going to teach them how to enjoy it and how to go from, you know, the way they used to live to a different way of life where they'll never put the weight back on.
Well, that is why this video is different from probably what they expect when they come to a video about fast weight loss, because it's not going to be the kind of video or program that you buy on, you know, as you've seen on TV or from a book or anything like that, because you're going to be sitting and listening to people discussing these things, and hopefully something is going to click in you at some point, in some way that's going to allow you to make a necessary change.
Well, what we're actually, see, when the person gets into the program, they're going to see people talking about a transition that everybody makes who is in this religious practice that we're doing. And the transition, they actually become a different person. And the person they become is thin. In this case, that's because that's their goal. So, you know, I think that's probably good. What we've said here is probably good for this movie.
Yeah.
And what we've demonstrated is probably good for this movie.
That's great.
So I just want to thank all of you for, you know, helping. And I want the viewer to know that these guys are authentic. You know, they will, like, if you're my Facebook friend, you can write to these people. These are my Facebook friends, and you can write to these people, and they'll talk to you. And there's a lot of others where they came from, and they will help you. You know, this is your brain trust, your advisors.
So is there anything we want the person listening to ask themselves right now at the end of this video, or test, or do?
Yeah, I want them to ask themselves, do you want to go through the agony of eating a diet that you hate in order to get a goal that you're hoping will do something for you, and at the end of it get there and discover that sure enough it worked, or darn it didn't work, or whatever, but you end up at the goal and you say, oh no, you know, is that what you want? You know, and then you end up going back to the, you know, being where you were before, back to square one. Or, like, is that what you want? What do you guys want them to ask themselves?
They could ask if they thought this might help them, or working this way, or with us, or you.
If you feel any different, or if anything like any kind of light went off in your mind, or you've had any different thoughts from what you've been having about this, do you see a different direction, or different activities or actions that you can do? You know, that kind of thing is what I was thinking also.
Yeah, like, see, because we're big on self-direction. So this isn't like an advice video. Like, what we're doing is asking we're asking you, the viewer, to direct yourself now.
Yeah, because they're going to have insights that we've never had, you know, and hopefully they'll share them.
Well, Ross is an English teacher in Italy. And so, Ross, do you have, as a teacher and somebody who helps people cure things in your classes, when you're at the school where you teach, you've helped people cure the flu there.
It happened today with one of my students. When I arrived, she told me that she was feeling very bad, and she told me what the problem was. And I told her, okay, today we are going to do conversation instead of grammar. We are speaking English, and let's connect to the harmonic. And she said, yes, yes, yes. Wonderful. She was very happy. And we removed a trauma. And when she finished, she told me, Ross, you know what? Now I understand many, many more things in my life. And I feel clear.
Wow.
Thank you. It was a beautiful lesson. We did it in English, so it was okay. And she removed a trauma of a past life.
Wow.
Okay, and you did it in English. Well, I want the...
Yes, and you know what? She told me that she finds that doing it in English is more effective than doing it in Italian.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Why did she say? Did she say why?
No. She just felt it was more effective.
That's funny.
Maybe she was happy. Maybe she was happy because she could manage to speak English. You know, it helped her conversational skills, and she was happy for many reasons.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's really a cool story.
Well, that is a nice story, and I want the viewer, the person watching this now, look for a signal coming through one of your hands. Keep your hands free and clear, and it'd be like a little finger movement, like you saw these people get, or you know, or Ross's fingers come apart or whatever, and you just test, can I achieve, you know, my goals? Is it possible for me? Now, you're not asking about this or joining this or anything. You're just asking, can I do this? Can I achieve my goals? And see if you get some encouragement. And you know what? What I would do if I were you is I would just stay in that question until you get a signal.
Good.
However many weeks or months or years or minutes it takes, you know, just continue with that question until you get a little movement there. Can I achieve mine? And I get yes on that. So thank you, everyone. And I will say sayonara.
Ciao.
Okay, ciao.
Hey guys, thanks.
From
Ciao.
Italy, buonanotte.
Buonanotte. It's midnight in Italy and 4 o'clock in Santa Fe.
Yeah, okay.
See you guys later.
Hasta